Good afternoon, Facebook. Good afternoon, Carl's Conversations. Welcome back to another installment. Tisha and I just going to take a few minutes to talk to you, you married folks, old and young, especially the young, and not just for married people, but for parents, for siblings, anybody in relationships. People often, when they see us together, they say, we look so compatible, and they comment on the positive way that we treat each other. And people often ask, do y'all get into it sometimes? And the answer is no,
No.
we really don't. I've heard Pastor Timothy Wright Sr. for years say that him and his wife don't fuss, they discuss. And of course, when I've first heard it, I wasn't in a situation where it was a tangible thought. But thank God for deliverance, right? So I do, in reality, it is my reality now. Tisha and I really don't fuss.
And we really like each other.
That's a plus. But we had this little thing that we call getting past the moment, and we coined that phrase because Tisha and I are very strong personalities, and we both have been through something. And when it comes to relationships, and sometimes that leaves some scars. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself, reacting out of your hurt. So what we have practiced is, even though we love each other and like each other, the reality is every now and then,
We get on each other's nerves.
I'm glad she said it and I didn't. So, and you have situations where you may hear something that you think that your partner has said this, and maybe in times past you would have, jumped, but you learn to not react out of your passions, not react out of your emotions, but to take a moment to think things through, calm yourself down to where you can get to a place where you can respond in a way that's respectful and loving, and then come back and deal with whatever you're dealing with. Ain't that right, sweetie?
Yes.
So, what you think about that?
I would say that it's true. I would agree with 110% of what he said. Um, Sometimes if you've been in previous relationships or marriages, um, like you said, I call them the third degree burns, and sometimes you don't know how bad you've been burned until you're in another relationship or some type of ship, be it friendship or whatever. You have to be mindful of what it is that you say, because your words can be so hurtful, and that sometimes you cannot apologize for what it is that you have said. My good girlfriend said to me, say what you say in love. So I've kind of borrowed that, because it is really true that you can get your point across and say it in a way that is digestible, so there is room for improvement, because you deal with people how you want for people to deal with you. So always mindful of that. I will be honest, my mouth is slicker than a can of oil, and because I know that, I am very cautious with what I say, because my mouth can be very lethal with what it is, um, that I say. And sometimes, my kids call me Petty Betty. Um, I can be a petty Betty, a petty LaBelle, whatever you want to call it. I can be that if you push me to a specific place, but I try to stay from that. I put myself in my timeout corner, maybe counting to 25, not five, not 10, 25, and get myself together. So, um, you know, so I don't have to apologize for nothing.
And for all y'all thinking that we're not keeping it real, yes, we are.
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what's keeping it real: keeping your relationship intact
Hmm.
and not reacting off of emotion and saying things in a moment that you really can't apologize for. There's some things that all the I'm sorries in the world cannot fix. So instead of putting yourself in position where you have to apologize, you may want to get it straight the first time. And hello to our friend Paulette and
Hey.
and all of you others who are watching. We hope that we're saying something that's going to help you. I tell you something that I say to men all the time whenever we're on the subject about how we treat our spouses. I say all the time, I had to learn this little thing. When I'm ready to go and address Tisha about an issue, if I'm not careful, she said her mouth slicker than a can of oil. I've been known to be stern and use very direct and stern approaches to things, but that's not always the answer. Sometimes that's the answer, but not always. But I use this practice, whether it's figuratively or actually. I try to always make sure I pass a mirror on my way to have a talk with my wife, and I don't just pass the mirror. I stop and I speak to the fellow that's in the mirror, and I try to ask myself a few questions. Am I about to communicate this the way I want to be communicated to? Uh, does this thing really need to be addressed right now? And let me also consider that the same way I'm going to go, deal with her about a situation, she is probably getting herself together
Yes.
and getting past a few moments with some things about me that irk her. So when you approach it like that, knowing that you are imperfect, knowing that you may not be the easiest person to live with at times, that makes it a little easier to approach someone in love. And the scriptures tell us that a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pitchers of silver, right? A word fitly spoken. I don't want to say anything that will bruise or offend my wife. I always endeavor to speak to her in a way that's honorable and respectful. I don't ever want her to walk away from a conversation with me feeling dishonored, disrespected, or devalued. That is not what I want to do. So I'm very careful. And I know some couples do this differently. Some couples, they tighter than two toes in a sock, but they fuss and cuss each other on a daily basis. Tisha and I are not built like that. Our temperaments will never be able to stand that. And like I said, there are things that you cannot apologize for. You can say I'm sorry, but apologies really don't get it. And Paulette is hanging with us today. Thank you, sweetheart. And our good girlfriend up in Syracuse, New York, Miss Lucy is with us. And here's one of my classmates, Jerry Halsey. What's up, Jerry? Hope we're saying something that helping you, bro. Uh, Tisha and I don't claim to be relationship experts,
Not at all.
but we do claim to be experts on the journey that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
And I speak for myself when I say this. Many times when I'm teaching out of lessons that I learned. And I was not always the sharpest knife in the drawer. I didn't always learn by watching. I was that dude. I didn't want to put my toe in the water. I wanted to go to the 10-foot diving board and just jump right in, no matter the guy in front of me crashed or not. I was bad. So I've learned. I've learned by seeing the other side of this, and I think I'm doing it right. Am I doing it right?
You're doing good.
We live now. We live. Don't tell no lies now. We live.
You're doing good.
Oh, thank you, baby. And so that's how I normally advise men on how to approach. Just be careful. That's not to say that you can't tell the truth. We have to tell the truth because we're not going to grow from a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say something before I turn the microphone back over to Tisha. A wise woman told me, and I hope that she's probably not watching. She's probably in church right now, but I hope she sees it. She'll know because she remembers saying it. She said to me years ago. She said, and looking for a wife, you might not want to make love or being in love your top priority. You may want to marry somebody who can put up with your mess. And I thought that was what? Don't make love number one. But let me tell you, all these years later, I have found that there was a whole lot of wisdom in what she said. Yeah. And what she's really saying is the small foxes spoil the vine.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not careful, some of the big stuff is not what harms your relationship. It's a little teeny things that just irk your nerves, and over time they build up. So you may want to deal with someone who really knows you, right? And for them to know you, you must want to be known. You must be honest. Somebody who really knows you and knows how to deal with you.
Mm-hmm.
I told Tisha very early, you know how to handle me. So what kind of advice did you give the ladies?
What I would say to the ladies is let your man be the man. So many times in situations, we as women have been in situations where we've had to wear the skirt as well as the pants. When you have a man that is the lead, seeking God for guidance, and you allow him to be the head, allow a man to be what it is that he's called to be. Um, and when you're speaking to your man, speak to him with respect, because when you give respect, you get respect. So it's just being respectful and being honest. When there are issues after you've gotten yourself together and you've come from out of your little timeout corner, um, you know, make sure that you can say what it is that you need to say in love. And it is so easy for things to go wrong in a conversation if you don't maintain yourself. So, just to be cool, calm, and collected and say what it is that you have to say, and give a person a time to process what it is that you're saying. Because sometimes he can say things to me. Do I like it? No. Um, but I will come back and say, I heard what it was that you said. I did not like it, but it is true. So, that being said, you know, I'll make some adjustments if he brings something to my attention. You're not going to like everything that's said all the time, but I think he says it all the time. There may not be agreement, but there's understanding. And, when you're in a relationship, you make the necessary adjustments. And when you are friends in your relationship first, it's a whole lot of stuff that you won't do because of the fact that you respect and love your friend. You don't do no janky stuff. So you move a little different when you like your mate, you love them. You just won't do certain things. Now I tell you, he will get on my nerve, and I know I have gotten on his. Is sometimes where I just won't say anything.
And when we talk about getting past the moment, everybody's process will look different. To be honest with you, I know most of the time, I won't say all the time, I know most of the time when Tisha is extending some grace to me. Did I say it right?
Yes.
I know when she's doing that, and I have enough sense to leave her alone. And there are times when I know she's practicing her getting past the moment, but I really want to say what I want to say. But wisdom and,
Much wisdom.
and experience have taught me that's not always a smart thing to do. Just because you're ready to talk does not mean that the other person is ready, and you're not going to have a productive conversation until both of you are ready. Now, I would caution you: don't stay unready for 4 or 5 days just walking around mad. That's not good either. You give room for the devil to come in and do some stuff when you do that. But we have to be mature, and I'm gonna tell you, it's difficult to be in a relationship with an immature person.
Amen.
So, for those of you who are still single and seeking, don't seek so much until you're dealing with somebody who is immature. Immature, selfish,
Mm,
them two riding
not a
together,
good mix.
you got a problem. You know, and that's most likely not going to get better. Don't marry potential.
Hmm.
You might want to believe what you see. So we just wanted to come forth for a few minutes, and hopefully we gave you some nuggets. Like I said, that getting past the moment will look different for everybody. For me, I like to just get to a still, quiet place for a few minutes. Sometimes I'll tell her, I need my 15 minutes. And sometimes she look at me and say, no,
You
you need
need
a.
30.
I know what that means. that's like
Extra time.
that's like your mama telling you, go into the room. Put your head down and go into the room. and she does not say that in a disrespectful way, but I know that when she says that, that maybe I'm on the borderline or something. So
Or his
I
toe is touching the line.
so I have enough sense to and usually my place is in our bedroom. I'll come upstairs and just maybe put my earphones in. Sometimes I don't even put music in it just to shut the outside noise off. And if I get a few minutes of stillness and quiet, normally that works for me to get my thoughts together. And now uh, I can be an understanding, agreeable, loving husband.
And the one thing I would add to that is when you see that your partner, spouse, significant other, when you see that they are having a moment, give them their space, because there is nothing worse than somebody trying to be respectful of you because who you are to them, but you just keep insisting. you are guaranteed, if you don't get somewhere and sat down, as our grandparents and parents would say, you cruising for a bruising and you liable to get your feelings hurt. Because if somebody is saying just give me 10, and you just had to have that conversation, more than likely you're going to walk away with your feelings hurt.
There you go. Some people probably saying the preacher and his wife talking like this. You might want to listen.
Been there, done that.
All right, y'all. Thank you for your time and attention. Hopefully, these few minutes of nuggets from our journey and our experience have been helpful to you. So until next time, for Carl and Tisha's next installment, we say God bless you
God bless.
and may
Take
heaven
care.
smile upon you. Bye bye.
Bye.